All right, we're back in action. Game number 2 between St. Louis University and St. Clair College. Saints had a pretty good start on that first one, taking it in 2-0 fashion on Oasis. However, now we got a bit of a different map style. We're going with the escort style map, so of course, gotta take this cart, push it all the way to the end, through the checkpoints and whatnot. And this map is going to allow itself to some more longer range DPS as we see coming out here from St. Louis and St. Clair respectively.
Yeah, Rialto is a great map for kind of these long range pushes. You have some really interesting it's probably one of my favorite escort maps because it has some really interesting fight zones. Typically defenders will play off the high ground here on these houses. And we can actually see already Hanzo firing away on the push, Matt doing what he can from the range, doing his damage as far away as he can from these kind of diving tanks on St. Clair's side.
And St. Clair basically going to allow them to move just barely outside here, but it's actually going to be the snipe from Trundle to get rid of Bailable nice and quick. And of course, with one huge core DPSer down, it's going to be just a bit messy from there as Weatherman and Dingus Kong not wasting any time jumping all over the Saints and the rest of the squad, just absolutely melting here. With only, I think that's Strider trying his best to stay alive, and they're chasing him. They're not going to let him get away with this. Going to have to jump into the water. And that's going to be so much space. In fact, that very well might be the first checkpoint. Nice and quick here from St. Louis.
Yeah, and as you were mentioning, obviously taking advantage of those long-range DPS, like on a map like Rialto, and especially on a escort map with the payload, that long-range DPS really able to put some pressure down without having to contest the point outright.
Gosh, this is absolutely brutal here for St. Clair. They're getting picked off before they even get the opportunity to fight. Matt, I think, got himself a double. Trundle managed to secure himself a quick kill before the fight even started. St. Clair in a world of hurt right now.
We may actually see some heroes getting switched up here for Saints. We actually see the Widowmaker being pulled up for Bailable here, getting poked out of the window here right before the fight's even getting started. Gonna have to find himself a good people before we so we can get some shots down from a safe distance.
Oh, they tried to chase down Trundle, but going to escape just in time. The rest of the team is here for backup. Autumn barely getting out with his life, but the skirmish is getting underway as we now have the Diva Bomb coming in high and not going to find its mark. Matt's going to be the first casualty here. And Bailable actually went down as well, but Apostle going to keep him up and alive and try and get back into the fight. And Yelsting is taking it down. This is back and forth madness here from across the snipers. Finally a little bit further into the action until Wada just goes in.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it looks like St. Clair finally got themselves a little breathing room in this fight. They've been getting pushed out pretty significantly, and this is the first time they've managed to get a hold on the point, on the payload. Give them some time to set up a defense here before St. Louis pushes in with the Hanzo ulti here.
A bit of a zoning ult, but in the meantime, it didn't allow Bailable to get sniped out again. Trundle is just winning these Widow duels so far. Gonna be Seymour with the bomb again, but the cart was kind of there for protection, it looks like. And St. Louis able to keep this push going. Bailable still a little bit far away to get back to this fight. Point blank up against two tanks, but here comes the Diva Bomb coming out from Weatherman. Does this stick? It manages to take care of both of the support line players from St. Clair, and this is going to probably be another checkpoint coming out here on the side of St. Louis University.
Yeah, with no healers, St. Clair has nothing they can really do to fight this, and they're going to have to retreat here and just accept that this point's going down and reset for the next one.
Forced to go all the way back to this final point. Now or never. There's still 4 minutes and 25 seconds left on this clock. Absolutely brutal stuff coming out from St. Louis, and brutal in the best way possible if you're here for St. Louis, of course.
We actually do see the Widow being switched off from Bailable into the Tracer. The Tracer, I think, is going to perform a lot better, being able to hunt down these snipers in the back without being so vulnerable to getting picked off herself. We'll see how this pick turns out for Bailable in this next fight here.
I mean, he was definitely losing that Widow one-on-one very often, so I don't blame him for trying to switch it up. And I gotta hope for the side of St. Clair that that'll be the answer they need. Wada going in pretty deep, but he's going to have to pop that Primal Rage to get himself back out there. He's going to get drilled even through the ultimate, taken out. Seymour and the rest of the squad to try and slow this down ever so slightly. It hasn't really moved very far, but this is definitely messy if you're Clair. Alright, they managed to take out Dingus Kong though. Maybe able to turn this into another one. Nicely done from Seymour, jumping right onto the DPS and supports, and they finally get themselves a chance to breathe.
Yeah, really good awareness from St. Clair to know that once that Mercy went down, they're free to dive and push in on this backline and pick up a couple other clean kills, giving them some time to reset for this next push that payload back just a little bit, make some more room, give themselves some more breathing room before this next fight.
Not too much further to go here.
Hey there.
St. Louis. And a lot of it so far has been on the long range play of Matt and Trundle. And that's going to be the Dragon. I just totally forgot the name of it. But the zoning ult from the Hanzo. But here comes the Diva Bomb to try and answer back real quick. Is that going to find anybody? It is not. And in fact, it's going to be a killing spree on the side of St. Louis. Hujox getting himself a double. Trundle finding another one. They're going to be able to push this just a little bit more.
Yeah, it looks like St. Clair's going to have just enough time to touch point, but it's going to be a trickling defense for sure. We'll have to see how they position themselves here and if they can manage to hold the ground long enough for them to get a full reset.
Oh, nobody was on cart. That's going to give Seymour enough time to get onto that point and make sure it just stops moving, even if it's just for a moment. Apostle going down extremely early, though, is going to be detrimental to the healing and the support of St. Clair. Diva Bomb comes out, not going to find its mark as of yet. Available, finally going to get some revenge onto Trundle. Dingus Kong going to be able to get the kill onto Prince Wada. And you just see Dingus just going crazy in the back line. Really slowing down St. Clair. I'm surprised nobody from St. Louis is touching this thing right now. Seymour trying his best to hang on for dear life, but he has demeched. His time was basically done for, but the rest of his team have arrived. The cavalry is here, and they're possibly going to be able to turn this fight around. Another ult coming out here from Matt right onto the point, trying to zone them off for the time being, but not getting any kills. He's going to be a nano boosted Weatherman. Demeched nice and quick, but Trundle once again finding himself a quick kill onto Bailable. Absolute madness coming out here at the very end of this with 1 minute, about 10 seconds left on the clock as well. And they really want to snag this final checkpoint.
Yeah, a couple quick hero swaps coming up from St. Clair. Apostle moving from the Mercy onto the Brigida. We actually do see the Doomfist coming out for Strider as well. The Doomfist, I think, is going to be a really valuable hook here. We can actually see the Brigade pushing in, taking out the Mercy, taking out Gimzo, pushing in now onto the Ana. The target focus is incredible coming from the support line, really focusing down on St. Louis's supports. It's hard for them to kind of regain any ground, and this is going to be exactly the push that St. Clair needs to hold onto this point for just a little bit longer.
Well, if there's any spot that you want to pull the Brig out, some close quarters battles like this would definitely do the trick. I like the switch between Strider going over to the Doomfist and Apostle over to Brig. Definitely makes sense. Up close battles, perfect timing, and they're going to be able to push this cart at least a little bit before the next push. And it should be the final push here on this attack.
Yeah, we actually see Trundle switching onto the Tracer himself with an interesting kind of more of a divey approach, it looks like, coming out of St. Louis. They are forcing onto this fight here. Winston focusing in on Dingus Kong here. We got the shield coming down. There's the Diva mech coming up for Seymour. Seymour's looking for an opportunity to drop it, and that's an absolute wipe for St. Clair. Seymour doesn't even need to use the ulti. There's the cleanup there, and they actually managed to hold onto the point.
I hope
St. Clair.
I hope that was a part of the play of the game, because I feel bad. The angle that we saw, it looked like St. Clair just blew him up out of nowhere.
Yeah, no, that was really, really well done for the St. Clair squad on the defensive line. I was just actually about to say before that fight broke out that they're probably happy that they managed to burn 4.5 minutes anyways, but actually managing to prevent the push in its entirety. All this means now for the escort style map that St. Clair, all they have to do is complete the push one time through, and it's a free win no matter, regardless. There's no overtime on this match. So we'll have to see how well St. Clair can get this push to go on Rialto here.
Well, this is going to be a tough one, though. That's nearly all the way. It was a solid attack coming from St. Louis University. As you see, there's the outline right there. That's where St. Clair need to push this thing to be successful and take this in a quick 2-0 fashion. Otherwise, we're going to go to a game number 3.
We see Bailable going onto the back onto the Widow, actually opting off of the Tracer here. The Widow, I think in the Rialto map, I think the Widow on offense is actually a little better. You have a lot of really good high ground options to choose from for that initial push. We may see him switch back later on into the round, but I think for the start, it's actually the right call. As you were mentioning, obviously losing those Widow trades into Trundle earlier, but I think on the offensive, there's a better chance for the Widow to succeed here. But actually, looks like Caleb is going to prove me wrong anyways, and going back to the Tracers. So we're going to have double dive DPS, double dive tank, really aggressive lineup with Sinclair on this first push. We'll see how it performs.
Interesting. Well, I mean, we know that that St. Louis is very comfortable on these snipers. You were mentioning before how Trundle was just basically outplaying Bailable in terms of Widow v Widow. Matt was popping off as well. So if you can't play that kind of game, just jump on them, and they're going to try and make this work as they really quickly blow up Weatherman's D.Va. And they're going to actually take the kill onto the D.Va itself as well. So player down here for St. Louis. St. Clair going to be able to try and get this thing pushed over. They're going to find Matt nice and quick. This dive style appears to be working, and even with the support coming in clutch as well, getting on the kill feed as well. Matt going to go down, and that was a pretty clean start. Very similar to what we've seen happen to St. Clair. Looks like happened to St. Louis as well.
Yeah, Matt went down twice actually in that fight, getting rezzed by the Mercy and then going down a second time. This St. Clair dive, you know, taking people down one at a time really seems to be their strong suit. We saw it in game number 1, and we're seeing it again in game number 2. This amazing target focus from the St. Clair squad, knowing that when they take one hero down, they can push for the next. We actually see a fight coming out here in the center. Winston tanking a lot of damage in the front here. Wada really holding his own with the Primal Rage up, maybe looking for an opportunity to use it and push the St. Louis squad back off of the payload here.
I'm actually kind of surprised to see that St. Louis opted to engage or like to try and stop that first checkpoint, but in such a close-knit area. It did not go in their favor in the slightest. Now St. Clair is going to be able to push this about halfway through this second point.
Yeah, for sure, and especially with a double sniper lineup, you're really going to want to hold your high ground advantage rather than forcing yourself onto a point where you don't necessarily have to set up. So St. Louis gets punished for that call.
Wada was forced to pop this Primal Rage instantly as he nearly got nuked by this squad of St. Louis. Able to get out with just barely enough health possible, and the rest of the St. Clair squad pushing this cart slowly but surely, trying to get it in a little bit further. But the high ground advantage coming in clutch right now for this side of St. Louis, and they're going to find themselves a quick double, and they're probably going to shut this down unless their tank line are able to pull some sort of miracle. But as we see in the background, Trundle is left completely uncontested, and that is going to be a clean sweep here for St. Louis.
Yeah, and this is a really good defense from St. Louis. You know, as we were saying, you know, these snipers need their high ground, they need their long range, and once they managed to set up, they swung the fight in their favor. And now there's a huge ult advantage for St. Louis. They've got 3 ults live, Trundle on 88%, Matt on 73%, whereas St. Clair really doesn't have a whole lot to work with. So it's going to take a while for St. Clair to get these ults charged up before this next fight goes their way.
Definitely not looking good for this side of St. Clair, but they still do have a bit of time. 3 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock. And that's a quick pick here from Bailable. Once again, I don't know. That is just on an absolute tear here on this Hanzo. Really coming through pretty clutch so far. Nearly dropping Strider before he even notices that he's even there.
He's already got the ultimate back up as well. Like, yeah, these headshots are crazy coming out of Matt. These snipers are really doing everything they can to carry their team here. These ultimates are just like constantly on cooldown. Like, there's no downtime for this Hanzo or this Widow. Really exceptional play from both Matt and Trundle on the St. Louis side.
We got the ult coming out, so we do have the wall hacks from Trundle, but in the meantime, St. Clair is opting to use this opportunity to try and dive. Bailable probably rejoined him. They opted to just push the go button and see what they can do. But Matt and the rest of the St. Louis squad right there ready to deny this as they get a bunch of kills in their favor. Matt at least getting himself a double, and the only kill being from the ultimate of Bailable pulse bomb. And they're going to be forced to retreat once again.
Yeah, Strider actually being forced to commit the EMP here. He's back down to 6% on his ulti. With Seymour's D.Va ulti coming up, it's going to be kind of rough having that EMP on cooldown. Maybe a missed call there. Hopefully we can get that kind of sorted out for the next fight for St. Clair's side. Get that EMP back up, combo that with the D.Va mech. Should be enough to push the point down. But it's going to, like I said, it's going to take a while for them to get that ult charge back up again.
Oh my goodness, St. Clair can't even get to the point to contest because this long-range style coming out here from St. Louis is just too good. Trundle and Matt just locking down all the pathways to try and get back to this cart.
And we see Apostle again on the Brigida, moving off the Mercy again, back to the Brigida. It worked out last time on defense. Let's see if it pulls the same kind of swing around potential on the offensive here. But St. Louis happy to take this time to get set up on their snipers. Matt does have the ultimate available again. Dingus Kong sitting on the Primal Rage. There are a lot of strong ultimates here for St. Louis on this defense. Trundle just pulling up the map hack, is going to commit it here, giving him some time to kind of find these targets, get these picks off onto the St. Clair backline.
And Wada got chunked down to like half HP before he even crossed the bridge. Gonna opt just, I think he did manage to just blow his jump nice and quick to try and get past that area. It's gonna be the Diva Bomb coming out, we got the Dragon coming out as well, and it's gonna manage to find Apostle, so one of the healing support members of St. Clair going down pretty quickly in this one. And Wada's getting knocked around, he's gonna be taken out, Trundle securing another kill, and St. Clair once again with a minute left. Really hurting another shot from Trundle. Holy smokes, dude.
We actually see St. Louis here pushing up and really trying to force out this defense from St. Clair, send them back, making it really difficult for them to get the touch here. But with 40 seconds left, St. Clair is going to have to make a really strong coordinated push here. There is a possibility for the EMP Mac combo in this fight, so it's going to be up to Strider really to get that ulti charged up as quickly as he can so that they can swing this fight in their favor. Hanzo actually not having his ultimate available for this fight, so if they can all manage to make it back to the point without getting picked off by this Widow, by this Hanzo, this could just be the swing that St. Clair needs.
I mean, do you even need an ultimate when you can just click on their head at almost any given command? And it
No, that's true.
Oh my goodness, he went back with the Widow 1v1 and lost it right away. And this is absolutely brutal. How about another one, Trundle? Can you give us a little more? And he is going to basically shut down two huge members for St. Clair. Sure, he might go down in the end. But that
we do actually see
enough.
3 pickups for St. Clair. Prince Wada being able to take out Trundle in the background with the Primal Rage. Apostle popping off on the Brigida. There's the kill on Gimzo. Gimzo goes down, and they actually do manage to hold on to the point here and get a quick little push out of it. It's going to be the second point.
I mean, they may not be DPS. I've said this many times to stream already, but they're making their mark known. They're getting the eliminations they need to, and because they were so focused on sniping out those DPS members, it seems like the rest of the St. Clair squad were completely free to just beat up whoever was in front of them. And they were able to get that second checkpoint, give themselves another minute, 10 seconds left on the clock, try and push it the whole way. And that is going to be a nano boosted monkey. He's diving in. They instantly pop Trundle and Matt as well. DPS gone. Gizmo tries to get the res off. This is actually a huge team fight for St. Clair. If they manage to clean this last one up early, which they do, they might be able to push this all the way.
What an excellent team wipe from St. Clair. Wada absolutely popping off in that last fight, diving onto those healers. And like I've said time and time again, St. Clair's biggest strength seems to be in this matchup. Their target focus is impeccable. They know who they need to go for, and they get that kill done every time. But we don't have time to talk about that now. The Hanzo ulti coming out, the nano boosted Winston pushing down on point. There's Prince Wada goes down. We actually trade for Weatherman. Strider taking out Weatherman on the side here. This fight is just crazy. This thing's happening everywhere.
Absolutely bonkers. There's 2 players traded out nice and quick, and Matt finds himself a double. The DPS for St. Clair is gone once again. Do they opt to retreat, or they have 10 seconds left? Do they even get the opportunity to? Rally is available. Try and keep everybody alive as long as possible, but they need somebody on that cart. Do they have somebody available coming in? Try and get the cavalry up in here, but we have the nano boost available. Can he give it to Wada? Looks like that's where he's going to pass it off to. Try and shove everybody off this cart, and if they do clump up into a closed space like that, that is a ton of AoE damage. That's a healer going down. Available gets taken out once again. Gizmo going for the revive and does manage to get Trundle back alive. He switched over to the McCree, something a little bit more close range. I'll possibly take care of it, and it looks like Seymour and Apostle go on a killing spree and manage to pull it out. St. Clair win this match in 2-0 fashion.
That was an absolutely incredible game there. And again, you could see there Wada's focus on the backline, you know, taking out the Mercy, taking out the Ana. Apostle actually rightfully so, getting the play of the game here on this Brigida, really just popping off. Yeah, this last fight here from Apostle was insane. These last minute switches to Brigida were really game changing for him. You know, having the ability to just hold that left mouse button and run at him, and he did it exceptionally well. Really knowing his role in that team fight was not necessarily to heal bot, but to really help his team take down this front line, and so that his tanks could have the time to get set up on their back line.
Well, it's beautiful when you can heal just by doing as much DPS as possible. And I mean, when they're all lining up in front of you like that, you dang well better use whatever option necessary. If it's just left clicking, doing as much DPS as possible to everybody in front of you, so you get maximum amount of healing. Sweet, we take those. And St. Clair, in an absolute nail biter, are going to get this in a 2-0 fashion.
Yeah, and I'm sure the St. Clair Saints are really happy to see that. That's their first preseason game. Going in with a 2-0, that's an amazing confidence booster for the rest of the season. This squad's going to be very, 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 very happy with their performance tonight. Really awesome choices from the team in their kind of like their compositions. And I really have to say, like, kudos for them for knowing like exactly the strength of their composition and what they needed to do, kind of identifying their win conditions here in these games, knowing who they needed to kill, and picking off their targets with pinpoint perfection.
Ooh, I don't know about you, but like it's not that that game was quick, but it felt like a speed run of sorts, so to speak. I don't know if I'm just out of breath or what, but a fantastic first game of Overwatch here. Of course, want to thank everybody for tuning in. Of course, this was preseason action. The actual season itself starts, I believe, it's next week. In fact, if I real quick want to hop on over to the schedule, you can see that this is just the tip of the iceberg in regards to what kind of matches we have coming up here for St. Clair. This is all that's confirmed, but I know there is stuff planned for Tuesday and Wednesday from next week as well. But yeah, be sure to join us tomorrow. As last week we had our League of Legends team in their very first preseason match. They were able to take that one in Game 3. But we get to play our Ontario brethren in Fanshawe College and, of course, the Ontario Post-Secondary Esports League. Then on Friday, the Collegiate R6, the Rainbow Six Siege team in their season opener versus the University of Michigan. Then on Sunday, it says TBD right there, but I believe it is at noon. Rocket League, trying to qualify for the Collegiate League, CRL. They'll be starting at 12. And then Monday, Tespa Hearthstone with their season opener.
Oh, and I'm super excited for that game.
You get to play in that
I'll
one,
be
yeah.
there. Yeah, I get to play in that game. I'm really excited to get my first game in with the team there. So make sure you guys drop by and say hi and give us your support in that first game, our season opener, Monday the 21st at 8 p.m.
Ooh. But I want to slow it down a little bit because I think we went through that like so quickly.
Those games were very fast paced. Don't be hard on yourself. Those games were crazy fast, and they swung back and forth, especially those control point maps at the very beginning of the match. There, it was like St. Clair would stomp for like 70%, and then St. Louis would stomp for like 90%, and it was a swing back and forth constantly. And obviously, the big pivotal moment for St. Clair in this match has to be their defense on Rialto on the first round, defending that escort like right at the very tip. Kind of giving themselves the chance to actually get back into this game. You know, being able to defend that point and not allowing the game to go into overtime if there is a tie can really, really, really makes a big difference in these matches, so that you don't have to push it and then push it again. And it makes it so that you have your energy up. You know, these long, drawn out escort matches, they're exhausting to play. They can be really, really draining if they go on forever and ever. So that last minute defense was huge for morale and really showed them, give them the opportunity to come back in the second game.
I was convinced that St. Clair was going to have the full cap to try and bring it to overtime rounds with how much momentum St. Louis University had. But like I said, they managed to clutch it. And because of that, this is a quick 2-0 for the favor of St. Clair. Now, they'll get to play, I believe, next week. It wasn't on the schedule, but they'll have, I believe, another preseason match as long as all goes to schedule. But Shadi, I wanted to thank you for joining me on the commentary desk for the first time. You did absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. It was a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to the next opportunity.
There'll definitely be plenty. We got a lot of matches up in store. And then for everybody at home, thank you so much for tuning in. This, however, is not the end of St. Clair matches. It'll be it for this stream. However, join us 9:30 at the College COD Twitch TV channel as our Call of Duty team is entered in a Black Ops 4 throwback tournament, and they have their second match coming up, and it's going to be streamed live there. So hop on in, show some St. Clair support to our squad, and otherwise I'll probably see you here tomorrow for League of Legends. Thank you, everybody, and last but not least, of course, I always manage to forget this until the last possible section, which is an absolute shame because they should not be. But thank you to the sponsors, St. Clair College itself, of course, the SRC, Zuckelman School of Business, PC Outlet, the Alumni Association for St. Clair, and Subway. Any final thoughts, Shadi?
Just really proud of my Saints on this first game, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they compete in the next one.
For sure. Starting it off with a W, starting it off right. But that's it for us today. We'll see you over at the College COD stream at 9:30. If not, have a great night, everybody. Take care.